Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Peridiam speaking, and on behalf of the crew, I ask that you please direct your attention to the monitors and mobile devices in front of your eyeballs right now as we review the emergency procedures. There are 20 captains on this aircraft, sorry, I meant exits. Please take a minute to locate the exit closest to you. Note that the nearest captain may be behind you, I mean exit. Should the video experience sudden captain loss, stay calm and listen for further instructions from me, your captain, oh captain, my captain. Kleenex tissues will drop down from above your seat. Place the tissue over your face and nose. Blow hard into the tissue and let out your tears because Golden Boy III was just voted off and I couldn't give less of a damn. But for real, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peridiam and let's talk about captaincy in Survivor and Big Brother. With the latest season of Survivor underway, I figured that it couldn't be a more appropriate time to crunch some numbers and go over the history of this strange phenomena known as people who have played Survivor and lost Survivor coming back to play it again in hopes of leading a group of new players to their eventual demises too. That got dark. For those who don't know, captaincy in Survivor and Big Brother is when a player who has played the game on a prior season returns to play again. But instead they are playing against a group of new players and not just fans versus favorites, but they are usually outnumbered by the new players. Because of this weird dynamic, most often these returning players are deemed captains as they have more experience than everyone else and thus are basically the de facto leaders of their tribe. Even if they weren't any sort of leader type in their previous season, now, because of their status, they basically default into this position. Captains have been a concept for a while in the history of Survivor and Big Brother, so with this video, I'm going to be providing a brief overview of each captain as they fit into the Survivor and Big Brother history books, as well as answering some rather interesting questions such as, does being a captain hurt or help your chances in the game? Does the gender of a captain matter? Do captains, on average, perform better or worse than their previous appearance? And between the two shows, which of their captains have done better, Survivor or Big Brother? A lot to cover in one video, so let's just get right to it with the first two captains to ever make an appearance on our screen, going way back to the autumn of 2005 with Survivor Guatemala.
Come on out.
Oh, right. Let me just say really quick, I will be spoiling every season where these captains are relevant, so if you don't want to be spoiled the moment I begin to talk about a certain season, just skip ahead. Fair warning. The first two captains to ever be introduced were Stephenie LaGrossa and Bobby John Drinkard, originating from Survivor Season 10 Palau. While many other future captains have had questionable returns, I think these two players have perhaps the best reason to ever kick off this kind of strange casting twist. In Survivor Palau, Stephenie and Bobby John were the last two remaining members of their decimated tribe, Oolong. In case you don't know, Oolong lost every immunity challenge in the pre-merge and went from a tribe of 9 to a tribe of 2. These two. And because the season was going to merge at the final 9 when the jury started and the other tribe had 8 members left, Bobby John and Stephenie were almost literally all alone. They had to compete against each other in a fire-making challenge just to see who would get kicked off, as there was no way for a proper vote to go down with just 2 people on a tribe. Stephenie won the challenge, but not the war, as she was voted out in 7th place after being absorbed all by herself into the opposing tribe. So, here we are, come next season, Season 11, Guatemala. I guess the producers felt compelled enough by their perilous story to give both Bobby John and Stephenie another chance, this time against players who wouldn't railroad them out of the game so swiftly. They were introduced as the only 2 returning players to a newbie cast of 16 people, and each of Bobby John and Steph would head their own tribe, this time, however, against each other.
My main fear coming into the game was that, yes, I may be sort of like a tool because I have experience, but I still have that nervousness that maybe they will see me as too threatening, or maybe I'm not as spectacular as they thought I would have been. And maybe they do want to just get rid of me.
While Stephenie is one of the most memorable captains to ever play Survivor, having now played 3 times and up until Edge of Extinction having the distinction of being the only female captain ever in Survivor history, I would argue on the flip side of things, Bobby John is probably the least memorable captain that's going to be talked about in this entire video. Heck, you know what? Looking at the list, he may be one of the most forgettable returning players in all of Survivor. While I won't be counting any of the stats between Aubrey, Kelly, Joe, or David for this video, as I don't know their outcome yet, I will say that of the 20 captains that are going to be featured today, Bobby John holds the distinction of being the only captain to neither improve nor worsen his standing upon returning to the game. I find this stat pretty remarkable, as there are some captains who severely flopped, and some who supremely soared, yet here's Bobby John, likely the least memorable of the bunch, with a whopping 0% improved score. Weirdly poetic. Stephenie, meanwhile, is the only female captain with actual stats to measure, definitely gives the other female captains a bar to measure up to, and if we're talking strictly numbers, even after Edge of Extinction, she is still going to hold the record in the female category as most improved from their prior season. And that's even if Aubrey or Kelly win. Stephenie didn't win Guatemala, but she did come in second, and that's still pretty good too.
46 challenges you took part in. You won 10, you lost 36 times. On the flip side, you survived enough to make it through 25 tribal councils. It really does say a lot for how well you played this game.
And so, in the history books, as far as Survivor goes, we didn't see our next captains until 11 seasons later, as long as it took to see our first captains, actually, when we had Boston Rob and Russell Hantz from Survivor Redemption Island return to pull off a similar stint as Stephenie and Bobby John did first in 2005. In the spring of 2010, we saw Rob and Russell duke it out in the All-Star Season Heroes vs. Villains, where Russell won that match, getting all the way to third place, while Rob was sent packing in a measly 13th place. At the reunion show, Russell taunted Rob about never winning the game, and then Rob retorted back with this line.
I do play the game to win.
When have you won?
I haven't. But I
Just
guarantee,
saying.
given the opportunity, I'd gladly go back and kick your ass all over the island.
And of course, that set into motion the biggest fantasy season we will likely ever see in all of Survivor. Not but 2 seasons later, Rob and Russell returned, and each captained their own tribe in season 22, Redemple Temple. Rob had the orange Ometepe tribe, Russell had the purple Zapatera tribe. However, Russell's tribe was not fond of his antics, and by episode 3 chose to throw the immunity challenge and then vote him out in the most unceremonious of ways. Russell's poor showing as a captain on this season resulted in him having the worst decrease in performance of any captain across all of Survivor and Big Brother, with an 80% drop from one season to the next. Meanwhile, of course, go figure, Boston Rob had the greatest increase in performance of any captain on Survivor, increasing his performance by a whopping 60%. But yeah, Rob returned, crushed the competition, and went on to win that season. One of the most dominant victories ever, almost like picking up the torch that Stephenie left behind when she finished as the runner-up 11 seasons prior.
Man, it feels so good to play with you amateurs. You give away so much. You don't even know enough to keep your mouth shut. Thanks for the memories.
Also, I will just point out right now, you may begin to notice a trend with these captains, as we're now 2 for 2 on a captain reaching the finals of a season that they appear on. But will this trend continue? Yes it will. What was supposed to be a Coach versus Phillips showdown for Survivor 23 South Pacific instead turned into a Coach versus Ozzy bout. 2 players with absolutely no history except for maybe getting screwed by Parvati. Both Coach and Ozzy performed better this time around than their previous showing, as Coach went all the way to the end only to put down the torch Rob left behind after he won. Coach was but 2 votes shy of winning South Pacific, whereas Ozzy came in 4th and was but 1 immunity shy of outright winning the game. Both of these captains made the final 4 and had the most impressive increase in placement of any grouping of captains on any individual season.
Ozzy opened up to me and he let me know that this game had really hurt him bad. Not the game itself, but the people that he had played with. He had given his implicit trust to people and they had burned him. And when I saw that in Ozzy, my heart broke for him. Everything changed for me in that instant.
At this point, Survivor was quite high on this concept of captains, and 2 seasons later, in Survivor 25, the Philippines, production went ahead and commissioned 3 captains, with each returning player getting a batch of 5 newbies to lead. However, all 3 of these captains that came back for this season, they actually all got voted out, or should I say evacuated from the game in the pre-merge of their prior season. None of these 3 guys were known for being dominant strategic forces, and yeah, it was a different showing as far as the history of captaincy goes. While Russell Hantz had the largest drop-off of any captain ever back in Redemption Island, it's perhaps Russell Swan, one of the captains from Survivor Philippines, who probably has the most unfortunate resume, as he was voted out in 15th place, despite only making it to 14th place in his original season. Meanwhile, you had Jonathan Penner and Michael Skupin, who both improved their performance quite a bit. Jonathan actually just squeaked out ahead in this two-person race. I will say, of all of the reasons to bring back players as captains, I think I liked this season's theme the most. 3 players who previously were medically evacuated, who were not these strategic tour de forces that were just going to steamroll the competition, now given another shot to see what would have happened had they not had a bad stroke of karma. Turns out at least 2 of them came away with their reputations intact. But
I came back out here to win this thing. However, we got our butts kicked, worst tribe ever in the Survivor history, and to go out like 4th straight humiliation, man.
As far as Survivor goes, season 25 was the last time we ever truly had captains take center stage on a season. It took 13 more seasons with Survivor 38, Edge of Extinction, to see this twist come back to life, this time with another spin. 4 captains, 2 men, 2 women. And I kind of like this variance because at least it's changing up this formula. 2 captains to a tribe, 2 more females added to the roster, and overall, it's just a little bit different, and I'm curious to see how it all pans out.
My 2 favorite players are Kelly Wentworth, and my total Survivor crush is Joe. And so we see this boat coming, and then you see the blonde, and I'm like, that's freaking Kelly Wentworth. And then it gets closer, and I'm like, is that Joe too?
And now shifting gears for a minute, similar to Survivor, Big Brother has also had its handful of captain seasons, with 5 of its 23 seasons featuring the twist. Now, if you don't want to get spoiled on the specifics of these Big Brother seasons, feel free to just skip forward to the end where I'm going to go over the bigger picture of the overall stats. While the first time we saw captains emerge in Survivor was in 2005 with season 11, interestingly, we also saw captains emerge in Big Brother for the first time with season 11, but it was in 2009, 4 years later. And because Big Brother oftentimes has smaller cast sizes, it was only 1 captain instead of 2. It was Jesse Goddard from Big Brother 10 who sort of won his way back onto the next season, Big Brother 11. BB11 had a weird intro where they tempted the viewers with 4 potential captains to return, but only 1 of them was actually going to come back. Honestly, it was a major tease, especially because I was kind of rooting for the other 3 over Jesse, even though I did come around on Jesse being a fun addition. Much like the Survivor captains, Jesse showed up as the only veteran player in Big Brother 11, and half the house basically fawned over him in a kind of cult-like way. When he was evicted in 9th place, a group of women who were allied with him even held a ceremony of mourning over his loss, as if he was like, I don't know, actually dead. Seriously, Big Brother can get weird.
I had so much fun with him too.
He was so much fun, even when he was kicking my ass.
This is so wrong.
OMG.
While Jesse's departure outside of the finals made him the first captain to be on a season with a captain not reaching the finals, I will say there is no bigger asterisk next to a captain's name than there is with Jesse. The most overpowered twist in Big Brother history was used to remove him, and really, it was pretty ridiculous, and I wasn't on board with it. 3 seasons later, in Big Brother 14, the captains were brought back in a rip-roaring fashion as 4 players returned to helm a bizarre twist I've claimed to be one of the craziest ever. This season featured 4 returning players, each being a quote-unquote coach, or basically a captain, of a team of newbies, or basically a tribe, in the Big Brother house for a few weeks. Initially, these captains weren't actually playing the game of Big Brother. They were just helping the newbies play the game. But, of course, they eventually were sent in to sweep the competition as actual players. As far as resumes go, this season, Big Brother 14 easily featured the most impressive group of captains between Survivor and Big Brother, as we had Dan and Boogie, 2 players who won their previous season, coming back, as well as Janelle and Brittany, 2 players who placed 3rd and 4th in their previous season. It's important to take note of this because despite each of these impressive placements, each of these captains actually did worse as captains than in their previous season. Basically, the bar was so high it was almost impossible to reach.
Now get out there and go kick their ass!
Bucks mixed with brains is a deadly combination.
And also, amusingly, this is the only season where each captain dropped I mean, if you think about it, the only way Dan or Boogie could improve is if they actually won again. Due to the cast size being larger, it would have been a statistical increase, but then there's no way for both Dan and Boogie to have won the same season, which meant one of them for sure had to lose. Or more likely, both of them, which was the case. Although I will just say, Dan was damn close to pulling off what seems statistically improbable, so kudos to him. Also, on the flip side of things, Boogie holds the record for the worst Big Brother captaincy performance from one season to the next, which isn't much of a surprise given he never wanted to be anything more than a captain anyway, and the moment he lost his status, he basically holed up for the rest of the summer. Transitioning from there, we saw 4 seasons later with Big Brother 18, a similar twist with 4 more captains entering the game and each manning a team of newbies. Now, unlike the coaches from Big Brother 14, these 4 players in Big Brother 18 were players from the start. There was no facade as to who they were going to be. They were playing the game to win the game, and they were direct competition from the newbies right out of the gate. Davon easily holds the record for being the earliest boot on their original season to return, as she was 16th out of 17 in Big Brother 17, which basically meant the bar was so low there was almost no way she couldn't improve one season later. And she did, though probably not as much as you might expect. Amusingly, the other 3 captains in Big Brother 18 all finished in 7th place on their previous season, with Frank for Big Brother 14, originally a newbie with Boogie as his captain, as well as Nicole from Big Brother 16 and James from Big Brother 17. Frank, perhaps following in the footsteps of Boogie, performed much weaker this time around, whereas James and Nicole did the opposite. James went on to get 3rd place, while Nicole won the entire season, while also being the first woman to ever beat a man in the finals of Big Brother.
Oh, Reggie!
Did you see that?
And then right after Big Brother 18, we had the one-off Big Brother Over the Top, a random season for online-only subscribers of CBS All Access in the autumn of 2016 that just so happened to also feature a single captain. Similar to Jesse from Big Brother 11, we had Jason Roy from Big Brother 17 return amidst a cast of newbies to give the season a little bit of a kick out of the gate. We also almost had Jose from Big Brother 18 return as the captain, as CBS held a fan vote to determine which of these 2 players would get a second chance. Jason returned from a previous 13th place finish to do exactly what every season of Big Brother has said happen when a sole returning player shows up. He helmed a fairly dominant alliance that ultimately protected him the entire way through the game until he made it all the way to the finals.
I am back, bitches. The queen is here.
Hi, hey!
I'm Scott.
Scott, nice to meet you.
I am so excited to be back, and I am so grateful to America for voting me back.
In case you haven't been keeping track, outside of Jesse and Big Brother 11, every single season with a captain on it has so far had a captain reach the finals of that season. And in case you're wondering, Jason actually put up the most improved performance of any captain across Survivor or Big Brother with a 62% increase as he came in 2nd place. And then, lastly, of course, we get to Big Brother 19. BB Production was really feeling their captains, and so after Big Brother 18 and OTT, they decided to give it another go with Paul returning as the lone captain in Big Brother 19, after he finished as the runner-up in BB 18 where he lost to Nicole. Paul was now back for revenge to right the injustice served against him in the previous season where he was but 1 vote away from winning. He too led an angry cult to the finish line of BB 19, whereupon he again reached the finals, and then again lost by the same vote of 5-4, resulting in another 2nd place finish.
We have 4 votes for Paul, 4 votes for Josh. Cody is the last vote. You won. Congratulations, Josh. You are the winner of Big Brother.
Sorry, Paul.
That said, unlike Bobby John from Survivor Guatemala, Paul managed a 1% increase in his performance from Big Brother 18 to Big Brother 19, given BB 19 had 1 more player in the cast than BB 18. So there's always that. This is a long video. I'm sorry guys, this is a long video. You're welcome, I think. With all that said and done, the history of Survivor and Big Brother kind of summed up in a brief couple minutes. Let's talk big picture. There have been 61 seasons of Survivor and Big Brother US, with 14 of those seasons featuring a mixture of returning players alongside newbies, and then 10 of those 14 mixed seasons featured captains. Essentially, 1 in every 4 seasons has featured a mixture of new players playing alongside returning players, and then 1 in every 5 seasons has featured captains. We have had a total of 24 captains to date between the two shows, including Survivor 38. Though, for the following stats, we're going to exclude Survivor 38. And now, let's answer those questions from the beginning of the video. Question 1. Does being a captain help or hurt your chances in the game of Survivor and Big Brother? Many of you might already be expecting this, but the answer is yeah. Statistically speaking, being a captain, it helps, but not by much. It's actually a really minor increase in performance, and this was the most shocking observation I found after hours of pouring through all of this data. It was only about a 7% increase in performance, 6.5% if we're being more precise, which, if you think about it, is basically just like 1 better placement, like going from 10th place to 9th place. It's so minor that I'm almost willing to say being a captain, it doesn't really matter that much. Even though, yes, we can observe the fact that one captain always seems to reach the finals, that doesn't mean all of them do. And I think more than anything else, it just shows how much variance really exists across the board, no matter if you're a returning player or a newbie.
In a way, like, I don't know if other people feel this way, but I feel like we let Rob down. It's weird, but you want to please your leader, I guess.
Russell keeps telling us that he's not the leader, but he's the one who's sitting there saying, okay guys, now go take a 5-minute break, drink some water. It's like, okay, we have to listen to him. I just feel like we should all kind of just work together, not like for him.
Question 2. Does the gender of a captain matter? Well, okay, to preface this, I will say there isn't that much data for the females to where I'm outright comfortable making a conclusion, but with what little data we do have, the females are way ahead of the males. It's not even close. By far, the biggest discrepancy, if you're a female captain, you're likely to improve by around 40% of your previous finish. But that's, of course, that's only factoring in 5 results between Survivor and Big Brother. Being a male captain did also display an increase in performance, but it was only by a measly 7%. And that's after 15 cases, 3 times as many as the women, which means I'm not sure I feel comfortable comparing the two just yet. However, still talking about gender, what's interesting to note is that anytime a female captain arises, there has always been a male counterpart. That is to say, we have yet to have a season of Survivor or Big Brother with a female captain at the helm. So for sticks and giggles, if we compared the female captains to their male counterparts, there was an amusing 14% increase in performance amongst the women compared to the men. In other words, female captains thus far have outperformed the men, and thus, well, women rule and men drool.
What is this telephone doing in the DR? Hello? Oh, hey, Janelle. No, my boogie's actually not here, but I was just leaving a message for him. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Question 3. On average, do captains perform better or worse than their previous performance? While there is an overall 7% increase to performance, it's also interesting to note that before being a captain, only 12 of these 20 players were able to reach the merge or the jury, particularly in the case of Big Brother, in their previous season. But upon returning and being a captain, 15 of those 20 were able to make the merge or the jury, which then shows an easy 15% increase in performance. So overall, captains do perform better as captains than they do as newbies, or in the case of some of these players in their just previous performance, whatever it was as a returning player. And then lastly, question 4. This is juicy. Which captains are better, Survivor or Big Brother? With 20 captains, 11 from Big Brother and 9 from Survivor, it's a pretty similar number, so unlike the male-female ratio, this feels like a fair fight. Before I get to the answer, feel free to take a moment and guess which show you think has done better. Ready for the answer? Between Survivor and Big Brother, the show that has performed better is Survivor. And it's not even close. There's nearly a 20% increase in performance between Survivor and Big Brother captains, 18% to be more precise, where the average Survivor captain will improve their showing by about 15%, while the average Big Brother captain They're gonna go in the other direction. Actually, the average Big Brother captain performs worse. Only 3% worse, but still. So when I say being a captain improves your performance by about 6.5, 7%, you can see which show is helping the other.
Yeah! Who's the best reality TV show in the world? Survivor!
The Survivor people were great sports, you know, they came to play and they came to have a good time. They rub our nose in it a little bit, but hey, I do that when I win.
That is gonna be the long history of captaincy in Survivor and Big Brother. So now that we've reached the end, I just want to ask, what did you think about all this? How are you guys feeling about Edge of Extinction? Let me know, but either way, my name is Peridiam saying thank you so much for paying attention all this time, seriously. Don't forget to grab your meat shield on your way out, and I will see you in the next video once I get up on my desk and shout to the high heavens, "Oh Captain, my Captain, please get voted out first."
It's good to see them, you know. It's nice.
Meaning?
They're temporary players.
Yeah, I mean, they're troublemakers. They're two of the most famous troublemakers in Survivor history, so, I mean, I don't think they're here just to help us out.
Like, all the girls were crying when they saw Stephenie because that's their hero. I didn't shed a tear when I saw her. They was like, how am I going to win $1 million now that she's here?
From the get-go, you know, when we had Jonathan on our raft, I've always had an idea. You know, it doesn't matter if it was Jonathan or Russell or Scoop, but I didn't want a veteran to win this game.
9th person voted out and the 2nd member of our jury. Jeff, you need to bring me your torch. Jeff, Francesca, Christine, Jamie, Travis Bogan.
Blindsided. Nice! Now that's how you vote somebody out.